Sci-Fi, and today I'm going to be explaining why Anakin is one of the greatest Star Wars characters of all time, and why his rise, and why his fall makes sense, and why I think it makes complete sense and total sense why he would fall and give himself to the dark side and everything. I'm going to start it from episode 1 and all the way to episode 6, which is when he becomes Anakin Skywalker again. So in episode 1, he's a slave. He's been a slave since he was 3 years old, as you guys can tell, right? So, when he was a slave, and when he met Qui-Gon Jinn, right? Qui-Gon was such a nice person. He believed in Anakin. He believed everything. That was the father figure Anakin needed, because like his mother said, he was born without a father. There was no father, and whatever. He was good. He was born without a father, basically meaning Qui-Gon was the father figure that he needed, right? So and then, he was supposed to be this character that was, he was this character that didn't have a father. He watched his mother get whooped by a slave owner, right? Because they did something wrong, right? He couldn't do anything because he was just a little boy. He couldn't do anything because he was a slave too, because it would have been worse for him. It would have been worse to get whooped too, so he couldn't do anything, right? Because his Watto was kind of a jerk in some ways, but he was a slave owner. That was the whole point. But he was, and so he had this innocence that when he loved his mother, he had Qui-Gon. But when Qui-Gon died, like in episode 1, when Qui-Gon goes to pick up the boy again, Obi-Wan is all like, I get the feeling that we picked up another useless life form. Like he's saying, he doesn't care for Anakin. He doesn't care. So when he's supposed to train the boy, when he's supposed to train him, he doesn't care. He's only done doing it because he promised he promised Qui-Gon he would, because Qui-Gon told him that he said, promise me you will train the boy. Those were his dying words, and why he became a Jedi in the first place. But then, and basically he's all like, he didn't really care at all about Anakin. He was basically a brother, right? He's not the father figure that Anakin wanted. He didn't need a brother. He needed a father figure to look up to, somebody he needs to look up to, not a brother. Okay, so when we see that he's only training him, let's fast forward 10 years, episode 2, right? Anakin has been having dreams of his mother dying, right? Because he's having dreams of his mother dying. Obi-Wan is all like telling him, dreams pass in time. This is the will of the Force. If she dies, you can't do anything about it. It's the will of the Force, and whatever. And that's not what Anakin wanted to hear. That's not what he needed to hear. And he was also the Jedi. Even if he told the Jedi about this, which he did in lore and whatever, in books and comics and stuff, he told the Jedi that he's been having dreams as his mother's dying. They told him to leave it alone, and started yelling at him and tell him to let go of your attachments. It's the will of the Force and whatever. He was upset. The Jedi didn't care about his mother. They didn't care. And then they didn't care that he loved his mother. And then he's having all these feelings about, and then he's having all these dreams and these nightmares of her dying, and then he finally realizes he needs to go save her. And when he goes to save her, she dies in his arms. His mother dies in his arms, and he was crying, right? So when he's upset, right? He got upset. He was upset, and rightfully so. They killed his mother. He loved his mother. It was the only family he actually had. So when his mother died, he was all upset. He slaughtered all the Tusken Raiders because he was upset. It made complete sense why he would. They killed his mother. It was all their fault. They decided to kill her. Right? They killed his mother. So and then when they decided to do that, he was upset. And when he was upset, he decided that to kill them was the only thing he could do. That's the only thing. But then after that, after when he talks to Padme about it, where he's all like, the Jedi's holding me back, Obi-Wan's fault, he's jealous and whatever, he's holding me back, and the Jedi don't care and whatever. He feels completely bad when he tells Padme that he He killed all the Tusken Raiders, the men and the women and the children. He slaughtered them like they're like animals. I slaughtered them like animals. He's upset. He's basically saying he's killed them because they killed his mother. He was upset. He basically gave into his anger and his hate for the Tusken Raiders and his hate for sand and whatever, because he's on a sand planet, and his hate and his hatred and his fear that he's gonna fear. He's upset. There was no fear yet. He used his anger and he used his hate and he killed him. Basically, that's what happened. And that's why he gave into it. You could see his dark side in here. That's why this is such a perfect movie to see the dark side, and that's why I think it's the third best Star Wars movie. Watch that if you disagree. And this is just mine. This is my opinions and whatever. And he's basically is just lost his mother. He lost his only family he had. He lost Qui-Gon. He lost his mother. Who else can he lose now? After the Clone Wars, years after, we roll around Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. This is the time where, if you remember, in Revenge of the Sith, he's having dreams of his wife dying after he's told that she's pregnant and having his child. He realizes that he needs to save her because he failed to save his mother. He does not want the same thing to happen to his wife, so he will do anything. And that's exactly what Palpatine needed to hear, to tell him he is the Sith Lord and he's behind all of this. Anakin was going to kill him, and then he turned him over to the Jedi Order. And he realized that the only way to save Padme is to kill all the Jedi. He thinks that's what he's doing is right. Because a person who's doing bad things never thinks they're actually doing bad things. A villain is a villain. They think what they're doing is right. Most villains are. And he's not a villain. The whole point is to understand his point of view and why the prequels completely show different points of views on Anakin's side, Obi-Wan's side, and Padme's side of their point of views of everything around everything. He thinks that the only way he can is to turn into the dark side, kill younglings, kill all the Jedi, and it'll make him only more powerful enough to save his wife from childbirth and dying, so he can have he can love his children, and he can never lose anything. Because that's why he's not supposed. Because in Episode 1 he was too old. He was too old. They said he's too old to train to be a Jedi. Too old to learn to let go of his attachments, and they were right. Because if he can't learn to let go, only bad things are going to follow after that. That's the whole point of the Jedi, why they are taken since they're the age really young, really, really young, like babies. They're taken into the Jedi Order to start their training. Then they're younglings. And so that's why he can't let go. He needs everybody. Without Padme, he feels like he will have lost everything. So he gives in. And it's either, like I've heard so many people say, so many people have done things like this. They're like, it was either the Jedi Order, Obi-Wan, or listening to them and letting them live, or Palpatine, the guy who's always been there, the guy he could trust, the guy who listened to him when he needed somebody to talk to. Because the Jedi wouldn't understand, because they have got so caught up in politics that they've lost their way. Seeing that Anakin trusted the Chancellor and Palpatine that he would go above and beyond just to save his wife. He was going to go save Padme. He was going to do that. When after that happens, he thinks he's doing his right. That the dark side is the only way he can basically. And I think the reason he stayed with Palpatine is because he thinks that he can bring back Padme if he only gets stronger and stronger on the dark side. So when Episode 4 rolls around, where he's basically around the time. Let's skip Episode 4, actually. Episode 4, we don't need to know about this, right? Right, because, hold on. Let's not skip yet. We're still in Episode 3, right? He's conflicted and confused. He thinks, he doesn't know, is the Jedi right? Should I stay with the Jedi, or should I listen to this guy who's been there for me? He is confused. And that confliction and that confusement is not... And that was and he was confused the entire time. he's so confused around A New Hope, around when he's older. He Alright, so let's skip over episode 5. When he realizes his son is still alive, he realized his kid is alive right now. And he's like, now he's more conflicted and confused than ever. Anakin is now Darth Vader, so he's so confused that he realized his son is alive. In this movie, he was told that it is his son. He was so confused. He was conflicted and confused, like, why isn't he joining me? And stuff like that. He's so much more confused and conflicted. And then episode 6, he is told that he was told by Luke that to let go of his hate, and he realized that his son wasn't afraid of him. He loved him, and that's what he needed. He needed a family. He needed somebody to love him, because he'd had that with Padme. Obi-Wan loved him, but they didn't care enough to understand that if he lost somebody, that he would have been so upset. They wouldn't have listened. When he realized his son was going to try and save him, his son was going to save him. He didn't care. If he realized that he wouldn't kill him, Anakin wouldn't kill Luke because he couldn't do it on Cloud City. He couldn't kill Luke on Cloud City. He could have if he wanted to, but he was his son, and he misses him. He was conflicted. He was confused. He's like, is Darth Sidious lying to me, or did my wife actually die? And during the end, where Luke throws his weapon away and not giving in to his anger, he's all like, why is he doing this? He's so confused. And then and what's going on is when he throws it out, and then he's given a choice, right? He sees his son about to die. His son's begging him and pleading with him to save him and and let go of his hate. When he finally comes to the conclusion that Palpatine and Sidious is the villain, he's like, what? He's all like, what? So he picks up Sidious and he throws him into the reactor shaft and realizes, and then he becomes the chosen one again. He does his prophecy, and that's why he dies, because the whole point of the prophecy is bring balance to the Force, destroy the Sith, and bring balance to the Force. He brought balance to the Force by destroying the Sith, meaning destroying Darth Vader, meaning him himself, and Palpatine. And that's why this fall makes sense to me, and why it would happen, because he shouldn't have become a Jedi. He shouldn't. Even though he is the chosen one, that shouldn't have happened. But anyways, if you guys agree why I think that Hayden Christensen also played the perfect Anakin, I'm gonna explain that in another video, and this is the video why it makes sense, and why Anakin's fall to the dark side makes complete sense. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace.